take a look at Ruth and the virtuous woman again. Let me share my screen with you. And we'll go here to Bible Gateway in Proverbs 31, verse 26. The virtuous woman, when she speaks, her words are wise. She gives instructions with kindness. Then just a couple of verses later, her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. Just a few verses before, her husband is well known at city gates, where he sits with the other civic leaders. Now, all of these things, and especially verse 26, when she speaks, her words are wise. She gives instructions with kindness. Lead me to believe that one of the characteristics of the virtuous woman is that she is indeed a bold woman. She speaks publicly. That was something that most women would not do. I don't know if you remember or have ever seen the movie John Wick, but in the first movie, in the first installment of that, it shows him showering, and he has a large tattoo. It takes up his entire back. And the tattoo says, Fortis Fortuna Adiuvat. Fortune favors the bold. That's kind of what Ruth is like. Let's take a look here at Ruth chapter 3. Naomi and Ruth, basically Naomi concocts a very bold plan. Ruth says, Naomi says to Ruth, my daughter, it's time I found a permanent home for you so that you'll be provided for. Boaz is a close relative of ours. He's been very kind by letting you gather grain with his young women. Tonight he will be winnowing barley at the threshing floor. Now do as I tell you, take a bath, put on perfume, dress in your nicest clothes, go to the threshing floor, and don't let Boaz see you until he's finished eating and drinking. Be sure to notice where he lies down, then go uncover his feet and lie down there. He'll tell you what to do. Ruth says, I'll do everything you say. She went to the threshing floor and she followed the instructions of her mother-in-law. Boaz laid down. Ruth came quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. Around midnight, Boaz suddenly woke up and turned over. He was surprised to find a woman lying at his feet. Now, before we go on to the next verse, it's worthwhile asking, what was Ruth doing? There have been all kinds of conjectures, ideas of what Ruth was actually doing in uncovering his feet. Personally, I think that what Ruth was doing, she was recognizing that she was subservient to Boaz. She lay at his feet. That is where someone would go to indicate that you have power over me. Now, when Boaz woke up in the middle of the night, she said, he asked, who are you? She said, I am your servant Ruth. Now that was enough to identify her. It was dark, apparently. This identified her as the person who has been helping his close relative Naomi. But she says, spread the corner of your covering over me, for you are my family redeemer. Now, what was that? Spread the corner of your garment over me. In Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 8, the Lord says, when I passed by again, I saw you were old enough for love. So I wrapped my cloak around you. Literally, I spread my garment over you to cover your nakedness, your exposure, to cover the fact that you had nothing. And I declared my marriage vows. I made a covenant with you, says the sovereign Lord, and you became mine. Spreading your garment over someone is apparently a euphemism for marriage vows. Ruth approaches Boaz and literally says, Boaz, marry me. Now, why would she say that? Now, in addition, she knew the Levitical law. If we look here at Deuteronomy 25, verses 5 and 6, if two brothers are living together on the same property, one of them dies without a son, his widow may not be married to anyone from outside the family. Instead, her husband's brother should marry her and have intercourse with her to fulfill the duties of a brother-in-law. The first son she bears to him will be considered the son of her dead brother, so that his name will not be forgotten in Israel. All of this goes to show that what Ruth is asking for is actually an honorable thing. She's asking Boaz to marry her and provide a son ultimately for Naomi, because Naomi's two sons have died and there are no children from their marriages to be able to inherit their land. Well, Boaz tells Ruth, let's get back here to Ruth 3. Boaz tells Ruth, the Lord bless you, my daughter. You're showing even more family loyalty now than you did before, because you haven't gone after a younger man, whether rich or poor. He's saying you haven't gone out to try to find yourself a husband. Instead, you're trying to provide for Naomi. He says, now don't worry about a thing, my daughter. I'll do what's necessary. Everyone in town knows you are a virtuous woman. Proverbs 31. While it's true that I'm one of your family redeemers, there's another man who's more closely related to you than I am. Stay here tonight. In the morning, I'll talk to him. If he's willing to redeem you, very well, let him marry you. But if he's not willing, then as surely as the Lord lives, I will redeem you myself. Now lie down here until morning. Boaz accepts her marriage proposal. He tells her that he will indeed marry her, but there is someone else who's even closer. So Ruth lay at Boaz's feet until the morning, but she got up before it was light enough for people to recognize each other. For Boaz had said, no one must know that a woman was here at the threshing floor. So the first thing Ruth does is she protects Boaz's honor. Then Boaz said to her, bring your cloak, spread it out. And he measured 6 scoops of barley into the cloak and placed it on her back. He returned to the town. The last thing that Boaz did here in this chapter is he provided for her. So here we are at a very strange juncture in the story. This is far different, so far different from anything that we've seen today, but it's understandable. It is what they would have done. It is indeed what Ruth did. What Naomi asked Ruth to do was incredibly bold. Go to Boaz, present yourself, identify yourself, ask him to marry you, ask him to redeem you. Friends are bold. What do we do to rebuild, or not to rebuild, but what do we do to build a solid friendship with another. There come times when we need to be bold. I see boldness in friendship in three different ways. The first way, if your friend is thinking about doing something new, something different, but your friend just isn't sure, encourage them. Be bold. Tell them, hey, you got this, and I will be with you. A second way that boldness can build a friendship, give them a new idea. If you see something in your friend that they have not necessarily seen, let them know it. Tell them. Have you ever thought about? Let them know that you're thinking about them and you think that they can try something new. A third area in which boldness contributes to friendship comes when it's necessary to confront. Be bold, call them out, tell them, I don't think you should be doing that, or I think you should be doing this. Be bold, be a friend.